What is up, YouTube? This is Sean, the Average Fisherman. And we are going to talk about something I love to talk about, and that's catching bigger bass. Who doesn't want to catch bigger bass? So this is going to be simple. This is just about some baits, inexpensive baits to boot. Baits that are kind of a blast from the past that some of us may have forgotten about. Me, for one, am guilty of this. Now, I just picked up the first one, again, a couple years ago. And it just catches better than average sized bass. It'll catch the small ones too, so you don't give up necessarily a lot of numbers of bites by fishing it, but you tend to catch some bigger fish, which is great. Who doesn't want to catch bigger fish? Very simply, it's a brush hog. Used to be a very popular bait. I don't know about other parts of the country, but where I'm at in California, it's not talked about much anymore, and it used to be a staple. This is the full-size brush hog, Zoom brush hog. I keep my colors pretty simple. This is watermelon candy. I have one lake. They really like this on. This is a 3/0 EWG. Normally I'd use a 4 or 5. I just have it out for purposes of showing you how I rig it. Pretty typical weedless presentation, right? 1/2 inch in the head, come out the back here. Thread it on up. You want enough plastic there to go over the hook eye so that when you're on bottom, rocks, whatever, it's not banging your knot and weakening your knot. Pinch it down like so, push it through, and then I like to skin hook it, okay? Just a light skin hook there, and there you have it. Depending on how I'm fishing it, if I'm casting it and dragging it, then I may not peg it. If I'm flipping it or pitching it into cover, wood, tules, bulrushes, whatever else they call them in other parts of the country, you know, the long green standing things that are in clumps generally. Bass love to be near them, in them. They love to spawn in them because they tend to have a sandy bottom. This bait will catch them year round. It tends to really shine as we move towards the spawn, which in some parts of the country, we're going to start moving into that pre-spawn stage, and they will really start looking for something bigger to eat. And even in the wintertime, they want a bigger meal so they don't have to chase down a bunch of different food. So the first one's a brush hog. Great bait, much forgotten about. I keep it pretty darn simple. My box actually has a few more colors in it than I would typically use anymore, but I've had some of them for a while. So this bag, actually, you can tell, is probably quite a few years old because I'll typically fish out of the box. These baits hold up pretty well. You don't go through a ton of them, but you'll see my box here. Now, colors I would recommend. Green pumpkin, just straight green pumpkin. You can always dip the tips, the side fin, or the tips of the curly tails in a little chartreuse and a little orange and a little blue and a little black. You can even use a Sharpie. You don't even have to buy dip and dye. You can use colored Sharpies to mark it up a little bit if you want some color contrast. Another staple, June bug. The water's a little dirtier. Can't go wrong with June bug. Black and red. Actually, that thing looks purple when I put it to it. Is purple. Well, what the heck? Okay, I don't know what they call that one. Is there black one? No, these are all purple. Purple with red flake in them. They're really dark. They like purple in my lakes, so I have quite a bit of purple. I have some watermelon in here. Watermelon red. Plain watermelon. You know, green pumpkin kind of covers it. Maybe some green pumpkin with red flake, green or watermelon with purple flake I like. Keep it pretty simple. You don't need a lot of them. Brush hogs used to be fairly inexpensive. I just looked on Tackle Warehouse. They're like $5.49 now. And we're going to go through a little unboxing here at the end of this. Okay, the second one is something I used to win a lot of tournaments on the California Delta. We used to throw these a lot. and that is a Reaction Innovations Boom Boom tube. It's a pretty big tube, as you can see. And again, I bought so many of these back then. I've got a wall full of them over there that they're hanging up on the pegboard. This is a great tube for flipping. It's a great tube for dragging. It's a Texas rig tube. It's got a nice thick head here for putting a good hook through. And then it's nice and soft back here where you're gonna Texas rig it. Same way we did the brush hog. So I rig it the same way, right in through the center, 1/2 inch or so, come out, enough so that it covers the hook eye at the top. Again, same reason. And you can either go through the center, or I like to just come through the side a little bit. Just kind of have it off to the side and skin hook it like so. Okay, that'll hold it in there just fine. Makes for really good hook penetration. This is really soft tube, as you can see there. And this is a California 420 color. It's a good color. It's watermelon red on one side here, and then it's a darker, I don't know what you call it. It's dark, like a dark green pumpkin with red flake in it. Great color, very versatile. Again, you can go with straight green pumpkin. In the tubes, I also like oxblood. It's purple and red. That one works really good. Again, I keep it pretty simple. And again, around the same time, these really shine during the spawn. They're a great bed fishing bait. When you can see them, when you can't see them, they're even better. And these I will peg. I want to keep the weight fairly tight to the head, probably about a 1/4 inch up. Peg it just a 1/4 inch up from the head. Seems to work pretty good. And for something a little different, this little tidbit here I'm going to share with you. I will rig those on a flashy swimmer. Right? And in this case, I won't use another weight. I'm just going to use the flashy swimmer. And this seems to work particularly well when the fish are spawning. I don't know why. I think the blade, and all I'm doing is flipping it, pitching it into holes. The blade just seems to be an extra little trigger. Okay, when I use the flashy swimmer, I'm going to go through the center of the bait here and skin hook it traditional fashion. But yeah, I'll just use that, flip and pitch it, not swimming it like a swim bait, just flip and pitch it. Works really, really well. Okay, so the last bait, and they're still made in a few colors. I think I looked on RoboWorm's site, and it looks like, Tackle Warehouse, and I think they had about 8 colors. And that is the Robo Zipper Worm. This is a big fish bait. At one point, it held the record on the California Delta of just under 16 pounds. Caught by a friend of mine by the name of Long, and he was just flipping this, okay? Now this bait's great because you can fish it all kinds of ways. I found it works really, really well dragging it on brake lines, along tule edges, weed edges, flipping into holes, flipping along the edges of tules, reeds, covers, dock pilings, any kind of structure. And again, same way, okay? Just typical, I rig it that way. It has the zipper appendages here, which really move a lot of water. Make it seem like a bigger bait. I'm gonna flip this on a 1/4 ounce weight typically. I'm not punching with it because with the appendages, it's gonna grab too much stuff. Or with the ribs, it's gonna grab too much of the weeds. However, when you're flipping on the edges, pockets, docks, those kinds of things, this thing is great. It moves a lot of water. Again, it's the Robo Zipper Worm, and I've caught so many big fish on this. And of course, my buddy Long caught that 15-pounder on the Delta. Man, what a day that was, huh? All right, and then we're gonna show you one other thing here. This is a little unboxing. It's gonna be pretty quick and simple. I got one box here. It showed up today. My wife doesn't know it. so don't tell her. Okay? But this is, when I buy baits, I stock up. Okay, I don't just buy one pack. I'm blessed to be able to do that, so I stock up. And what we have here if you'll look, is 10 packs of brush hogs. And this is a new size that came out a year or two ago. It's the mid-size brush hog. Works really, really well for smallmouth and spotted bass. That's why I like it. It's a little bigger than the baby brush hog. Strike King used to make a rage hog this size. They took it off the market. No idea why. One of my favorite baits. You can throw these on shaky heads. You can Texas rig them. You can dart head them. My preference for this is to drag it on a shaky head. And generally I'm using this to fish for spotted bass or smallmouth. Fishing it a little bit deeper. And all I do is just drag it. Simple. Just drag it slow. Eat a sandwich, drink a soda, whatever you like to do. Take a nap. Wait for the rod to get ripped out of your hand. Anyway, that's our video for today. Thanks for watching. This is Sean. Please subscribe and like if you got some information out of this. I got some more great videos coming at you. We're even going to have some not live, but I'm going to videotape my fishing trips, okay? This week, I think I'm going to Berryessa, which is a great 3-species lake. Smallmouth, spotted bass, and largemouth. Hopefully we catch a slam. Hang around. Come back and see us. Have a great day.